What's going on, guys? Reisshub back with another video, and in today's video I want to cover Vadeal and some box fighting tips from him. He's known as one of the best fighters in EU, if not the best. It's debatable, there's a lot of really good people up in that list, but he's been completely popping off this year, and most importantly this last week. He took first place in the DreamHack Duos finals. In the EU Encore round 1 he placed first, and then in the Choppers Championship Cup he also placed first here as well. So 3 firsts within the span of like 5 days, which is extremely impressive. So let's kind of get into some tips about how he fights so well. So let's look at this fight. It ends up being a 1v1 from the Cash Cup, and it's a bit close. These guys both are low HP, and what Vadeal does here is he swings into his box. He already has a 2x1, opens a wall at it as he knows the player is going to come this way, and then strafes to the left behind the wall so he has the right hand peek. He trades shots and hits from 99 white, which means the other guy is actually 1 HP. But notice, rather than resetting the wall, he actually places a ramp because of the angle that he's at. He knows this is going to actually then place over the top of the opponent there. Now, most people, like I said, would already reset the wall, but if you notice, after placing the ramp, he takes his pickaxe out. This is because he almost expects the other player to get the wall. But even if this other player gets the wall, from the angle that he's at, he's always going to have the better advantage over this peak because of the ramp there. The opponent doesn't actually end up getting the wall, so you can notice him place another wall through the opening that he's already made behind him to trap in the opponent a little bit more. Then the opponent takes the wall back from him, and you just notice he already knows he's 1 HP, so he just sprays through and eliminates him this way. This method of just placing the ramp ensures, again, that you have a better right-hand peek than the opponent, even if they manage to steal the wall from you. So it was a really nice play just to quickly place that wall over him, just to try that. Obviously, he tried to block the shot from the opponent too, but he ended up taking that shot back in return, so it's not always going to work out perfectly, but the idea was still there, and the execution was really good. This isn't necessarily a tip, but also look at the great aim, but most important about this clip is its Vadeal v Vadeal action. Notice how he knocks a complete imposter that has exactly the same name as him. One of the things that I really like about Vadeal's gameplay is that he's always thinking ahead of his opponent. You notice in this clip that he picks up a really nice elimination on one of the opposing players and is inside a building in kind of awkward situation. So he instantly creates a full box around him because he knows that there's other players around, obviously preventing the other teams from getting any damage off at all. Then he does this edit with a little window, so he places a cone outside to ensure this opponent doesn't try to ramp phase into the box. This works because the opponent actually just runs away at this point, but still, the other player is now boxed up diagonally from him, so once Vadeal has taken his time to eliminate the opponent that he got the first knock on, he gets the loot from that, and then he starts aggressing this other player instantly. He's spraying his wall with the assault rifle, trying to weaken it, trying to take it away from a distance, but the opponent inside the box places a ramp, which allows him not to get the cone in the box this time. Next, he's thinking, where's his opponent gonna go? He's already placed the ramp there, and he sees him double edit out of the top of the box. He then turns around, and rather than taking a shot, he just places a wall right in front of him, catches himself on a floor, and then edits a window through and cones in the opponent's box. Then puts this beautiful 1-pump. But notice the second he gets this elimination, he fully boxes up himself again. This gives him another safe place to be if his opponents were, if there was another player in another team, or if he was being third partied, to not be shot in the side while doing this. It's an instant reaction that he has, and he did this twice during the fight. He's always thinking ahead, thinking, what if the next team comes? What if they hit me and I have to waste some heals at this point? This is something that Vadeal does a lot. It also allows, if he goes into the opponent's box and to pick up the loot, they may not have any of the edits here, so this creates a safe box for him to instantly escape out of and already have all of the edits to be able to fight out of if there's any other teams there. In this clip, notice how Resin goes down to the opponent here, and Vadeal instantly picks him up and has the muscle memory to throw him into the other box to create safety. This is because he's in a box that doesn't contain any of his walls, any of the piece control at all, so he's not going to be able to res him in here one little bit. This is something we see a lot of top pros do in terms of their teammates when they go down, or opponents when they get eliminated, to get them into a safe spot so they can eliminate them and keep all of that loot in a box that has all of their own edits in it. If you just eliminate this opponent or try to res them in a box that has none of your own edits, you're just going to get knocked really easily if another team comes up and tries to eliminate you here. So this is muscle memory that these guys clearly have down, and that you guys also need to have in your gameplay too. It seems really simple, just throw your teammate, throw your knocks if you get them, but you really need to ensure that you know how to do this quickly and efficiently. This next clip shows some really great awareness and some great movement as well. Notice how he falls into a box that has the opponent in it, and he obviously does not want to be in this situation at all. So he cones the opponent just as you normally would in the middle of a fight, but he also walks backwards instantly. If there's a wall behind him, he's going to walk into this to distance himself from his opponent. Whereas Noah Riley, his teammate on the side, is going to be spraying in, and this is much less likely for him to be one-pumped because he's created a little bit more distance there. But because there isn't a wall behind him, he just gets out of the box, places his own wall there, and creates that one more layer of piece control before picking up this other elimination. This is something that people frequently mess up, is their actual spacing between their opponents, where they get into the box and they're almost touching them, they're so close to them. You need to ensure that if you're in a box, your spacing is good enough so that you can actually control your aim and hit your opponents easily. So in duos, let's see how him and Noah Riley actually kind of approach these fights that they're taking. They both use the rifts from Stark, as this is an opens gameplay, so they're just kind of going for these high eliminations. And notice as they're flying down, Noah Riley is already on one wall at the back, and here we have Vadeal landing at the complete opposite, creating a nice pinch. But notice, he instantly sprays the wood wall down to 1 HP and then places the cones for him to stand on, before quickly taking the wall and then going for elimination on Josh, who has hilariously just been raised from his previous death. Now, what's interesting about this is the fact that he weakens the wall first. Obviously, the team inside could heal the wall up, but at this time, he then places cones on the floor to ensure that he can't get ramped over. If you've noticed anything about our first clip that we took today, the first one that we did, it was all about him ramping out an opponent that was attacking his box. So this is how he doesn't get ramped over. He simply places a cone there to ensure that he can then take the wall very easily and not get that ramp placed over him. This is a very common strategy in box fighting, but it's just interesting to see that he does this first by weakening the wall, then by placing the cones, then simply by taking the wall with that AR and getting the elimination on Josh on the inside. So let's look at this nice elimination where he places a high wall. I've talked a ton about high walls in my previous videos, and this is again a very common strategy to use, but he simply places the high wall when he sees the opponent coming next to him, which is aka a layer above him, edits the wall open, and then cones and fully boxes up the opponent. You've probably seen this a ton of times, then replacing the ramp with his cone and picking up an elimination. But what am I actually trying to point out here? The most important thing I notice about the way he does this, however, is his movement. Notice he never extends fully into the box. He dips his little toe right into the box while he's placing the 3 walls just to ensure that he gets them from that reach. But as soon as he starts spraying the ramp to replace it, notice his movement. He's walking backwards and then cones from outside of the box. This allows him to reduce the chance of him getting one pumped thoroughly, and obviously enables him to pick up a really easy elimination. It also allows him to keep good vision on his opponents, because a lot of times when you run in a box and just start spraying at build pieces, if you're deep in there, you're going to miss the opportunity to actually pick up eliminations on your opponent, and it's much more difficult to track them. So this spacing of constantly keeping one box between him and his opponents is something I see very, very frequently between him and his fights. So let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, piece control. And let's look at this endgame in the finals of DreamHack Duos, where Vadeal places so many beautiful builds. And this is just a really simple example of what I've kind of been talking about a lot, but if you notice, in between this and his opponent, he uses every single build tile available to place something in. Notice he takes the shot for around 60 damage and instantly places the wall between him and his opponent. But not just that, he noticed the opponent moving to his right, so when he edges through the wall, he cones that floor, and then also you can see his blueprint go into the cone in the box that he's standing in, but obviously there's a ramp there so it doesn't place. So he was trying to get that build piece in every single slot available. Once he hits this pump shot, he switches to his wall, places the wall, and obviously he's already eliminated him at this point, but if the opponent had survived, he would have blocked his shot with us as well. It's small little piece control things like this that shows why Vadeal is just so good. Always being very, very careful, ensuring that his opponents can't hit him back for damage at all and that he has that advantage. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a lot. I've been Reisshub. Please like the video and subscribe if you aren't already. Have a good day. Peace.